What's up, my dudes? This is the review of Zoo Tycoon. Planet Zoo. Yeah, dog. There we go. So, this is actually really, to be honest, this is the true, what I consider Zoo Tycoon 3. I know how they kind of went to a little bit of a weird Zoo Tycoon a couple years ago, and it wasn't really like the first two, right? But then Planet Coaster came out, which was made by Frontier, right? They were involved in the original roller coaster, or Roller Coaster Tycoon, I think, and then Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 and 3. They were a lot more involved on that. So they made their Planet Coaster game a few years ago. And then now this is sort of their... That was kind of like the new Roller Coaster Tycoon, right? And so now they've kind of taken the jab at the Zoo Tycoon side of everything, and now they're doing the Planet Zoo. So this is kind of like Frontier's Zoo Tycoon, okay? And let me just tell you guys, I have been absolutely glued to this game like I haven't been for any other game in a long time. I mean, there is so much depth to this game. You just wouldn't imagine it. Like with every animal being so different, and the animations of the animals and just the overall visual quality of the animals is on another level than any of these other games have been previously. And there's just a lot to this game that really elevates it to that next level. And just to give you guys a little bit of a background story, I was really big into the first Zoo Tycoon when it actually first came out. Like, I don't even know how long ago that was. I wasn't very old, I can tell you that much, but it was a while back. But there's something about Tycoon games I just love. I'm actually got a little bit of an addiction to them. They're really cool. I haven't played any of them in a while, but I used to love them. I mean, absolutely love them. So, yeah, it was like a big thing that I used to really play a lot, and there was kind of that Tycoon boom of games back in the day where you had, like, everything in a brother Tycoon. You had Mall Tycoon, Zoo Tycoon, and Tycoon for SeaWorld Tycoon. I mean, literally, you had, like, everything Tycoon. But I feel like the two biggest ones were... obviously Roller Coaster Tycoon and then Zoo Tycoon. I feel like both of those are probably the bigger Tycoon games out there, some of the most popular ones, some of the better ones, not so much like, kind of knockoff, like kind of silly games. Those were more like full fleshed out games, right? So basically that's what I got into, was the first Roller Coaster Tycoon and the first Zoo Tycoon, and then it went to Zoo Tycoon 2 after all of the super cool expansions of the first Zoo Tycoon with the dinosaurs, and then you had the whole marine expansion for the first Zoo Tycoon. Those are some of the most perfect expansions you could ever have for a zoo game. That's like so badass. You had like a literal Jurassic Park expansion and then a full-blown like SeaWorld expansion to the first Zoo Tycoon, so that was super cool. Really loved that a lot. And so then Zoo Tycoon 2 came out, which kind of really started pushing the graphics to another level. It wasn't like that super old school top-down basic looking graphics. It kind of had everything had more of like a true 3D model effect to it. And then they came out with multiple expansions for that as well. But since then, we haven't really had too much of a true Zoo Tycoon game, right? We just haven't had too much of that. So that's kind of what happened with all that. Let me get this unbox. Yeah. So either way, that's kind of what went down with that. And so, but now with this true Planet Zoo game, this really is the first one that's kind of caught my attention and brought all that old Zoo Tycoon love back. And this game doesn't disappoint, man. It's crazy. And so what I kind of been playing on here is the challenge mode, and this is pretty much just like a standard sandbox mode. It's just you have a certain amount of money at the beginning, so it's not really like a challenge like you have to do a certain thing. They do have a full campaign for that kind of thing, and it's like scenarios and stuff, but the challenge mode is just simply you're just building a zoo with, I think it's like $40,000 to start with, and then you just got to be able to build your zoo, right? And it wasn't until a recent update where they diseased animal. All right, let's get that vet going right quick, Ski. Okay. So it wasn't until just here recently they made it to where you could, even in the sandbox mode, you could set a certain amount of money limit that you had from the beginning. But like just a couple weeks ago, you couldn't even do that in the sandbox mode. You were literally forced to have unlimited money in sandbox. But the way I like to play these games personally is be able to build anything you want to, basically, but have a money limit to it, actually have like an economy to it, and you got to be able to make money to build more and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Sup, dog? Got me some hyenas going over here. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been doing here, and God, they have balanced it so well. Like, the amount of money you have to have, like the cost of things, the upkeep cost of things, like how you're pricing the entry and how many guests you can get. They've got this whole system where it's so deep, it's almost not even like explainable. You have loans that you can take out. You have like, marketing things you can do. There's a lot of different stuff going on here, guys. So, and it all really like affects what you're doing. It doesn't just feel pointless, like whenever you first kind of start with your $40,000, you can barely have enough money to put down your like staff rooms and stuff that you have to have, obviously, some sort of actual, let's see exactly what they call it here, utilities, right? Which is like your solar panels, stuff like that, which you have to research to even get to the point to where you can get solar panels. So there's a lot of like research buildings. There's a lot of things you can't build from the start because you haven't researched it. So there's a lot of like work up, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of earning and work up and balance and money, and this affects that, and all of your different staff members, you can train them, you can pay them different amounts, and it affects their happiness, and they have energy levels, and you can put them to certain areas to work in. There's a lot. There's a lot going on here, dog. Just as far as like the standard Tycoon elements to a game, there's a lot to this game when it comes to that. And that's what really, I think, kept me super invested into it, was just that, I don't know, you like just get enough money to really start getting things going. You build a habitat, and then it's like one of your animals will get sick, or they'll come down with a disease, or, whatever. And then like you're losing money. So then you got to take out a loan, and then you build the vet center, you hire a vet, you get everything going. Then you're losing money because you took out the loan and you're paying interest on the loan. And then, it really like keeps you coming back and playing. And it's a fun gameplay loop where you're gaining money, but you're building on your park, and you're trying to save money, but make the customers happy, make your animals happy at the same time, and all of that. So there's quite a bit going on, when it comes to gameplay elements like that, versus just plopping down a bunch of animals in a pen and calling it good. Like there's quite a bit more to it than that. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot more to it than that. But got me a little baby over here. Built this nice waterfall myself, boys. Okay, got their little underwater house area here. Little shelter area. Kind of cool how I built that right on the water. But yeah, if you're like a Zoo Tycoon lover, this is your game, dog. It's very no limits in a sense, to where you can build anything on anything. You know what I'm saying? Like all these this cave right here, I built every single piece of this cave and put it together, and it actually works as a cave. That wasn't like a pre-made cave in the game. You see what I'm saying? I had to put each one of these rock objects together. It's got you can layer objects with other objects and make more objects. It kind of goes like that. Let me get this on tropical. So the kind of vibe I was going with this whole park here was more of a tropical. You can set your park in different areas of the world, and it's set in a tropical environment, South America. So I kind of put sandy vibes, some palm trees around here, right? But you can like put a rock in. The reason why I can't build is I don't have enough money. I'll take out a loan real quick just to kind of build some stuff. Let me see. We'll take out the $20,000 one. Let me go ahead and plop down. So I had my little lizard cave here, but I had to delete some things because I needed the money. So let me plop a couple of these puppies down right quick. Okay, let me put... I need these back in here anyways, so... Put this guy right here. Let me see. Put this dude right here. Okay. 2 of those paths. Let's try to... I think let's see. Yeah, that's still going to work. Let me get this around. How did I even do that? God, it's crazy. Okay. So you can kind of do like that, right? And when you place something, so it kind of like... I built this entire big cave area here. So what you can do, it's got a full terrain editing system to it, right? So you got the whole 9 yards of that. But it's cool with this game specifically because everything can kind of, especially like when it comes to trees and rocks and stuff like that, things can kind of be put together. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're really collidable. They can kind of be put together. So you can do things like bush in a tree, rock inside the house here, which is not pre-made like that, right? I kind of had the rocks there, then put this barn shelter thing in kind of where you know, you can kind of make your own things out of things in the game that way because you can layer and put together and that's cool because you can like put your different shelter areas kind of down in the water, you know, you can raise, lower, everything. So, that's kind of the vibe I was going for there. But let me just put a little guy in here real quick. So they got 2 different sets of, like, you have animals and then you have, like, exhibit animals, okay? So your main animals are, like, your normal pig-style animals, you know, the typical stuff here, right? Then the exhibit animals are like what you'd find in the small little glass, you know, like reptile exhibits and stuff. So this will be like your snakes, small lizards, stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and throw in one of these green iguanas here. So then you can kind of do like that, right? So you got to like, you know, it's really deep. You got to set the temperature of the habitat. And you go up a little bit. You got to set the humidity. And each one of these different animals is going to have a different, you know, different set to that. You got to be able to power this actual, this exhibit right here as well with external power. You got different windows you can close, right? You can kind of create your own system like that. You got each one of these animals. I've actually researched this animal quite a bit, so I can put these different logs in here, different rocks in here. It raises the enrichment level of each one of the animals. They will actually breed, even the smaller animals like this, when you put, obviously, male and female, but they have like different levels of you know, fertility. And this is just with the smaller, like little baby exhibit animals. It gets a lot deeper when you get to the bigger animals in the game. So that's a female. Let's go and put the male in there real quick. Green iguana male. Yeah. Plop him down right there. Okay. So, you know, I mean, you can get all the way close up on them like this. It's actually really cool. And you can put that inside of a cave that you built to kind of make it like a little lizard house or a, you know, reptile house cave thing going on, right? So you've got all that. And it's just so cool, like the deepness of, you know, I kind of made like this is like a full reptile area, dog. That's all. It's like a swampy tropical reptile area. So we've got the standard saltwater croc right here, which looks awesome in this game. That's one of the biggest cool things to this game is just the animations of each one of the animals are so different. And you know how different the animations are from a damn crocodile to a zebra, right? It's, you know, and they really seem to have nailed that graphical look of the animals, and then the animations and their behavior patterns are, each one of the animals is a different experience, you know, even going from the monitors to the crocodiles to the whatever. But it's crazy because, like, you can put Galapagos tortoises in here with the crocodile and he won't eat the tortoises, but if you put the Nile monitors in there, he will predatorily attack the Nile monitors and kill them. So you've got like all different, certain animals can go in with other animals. You got mechanics, every different machine, every different building can technically go out. You've got barriers on each one of these that go out, and you need mechanics for that. And if they go all the way out, then the animals can get out of the barriers, right? Each one of the animals needs like a very specific certain amount of, like hard shelter, terrain, grass, soil, sand. Each one of them's got a different, you got plants that certain amount of coverage they need, certain kind of plants. You've got enrichment items, and all these things have to be researched, and with research buildings and stuff like that. I built this entire cave thing right here, this little water cave here as well. So now they're going to fight, I think, because of one of these Nile monitors is actually matured. Yeah, so now they're fighting. Don't protest me, PETA. So this one's actually injured. That's not the injured one, so I'll go ahead and box him up. See if we can, my dog in real life just gruffed at me. He wasn't gruffing at me, but okay, I can try that. He's gruffing at something. That's not in-game sounds, boys, I promise. Okay, so either way, you got like water purity. I don't actually have a water purifier on this water down here, even though it looks really good. Why is that so blue, dude? It's got to be the sky right now. Look at that. Oh, yeah. They really took the graphical level of this game to another level for sure. But it's cool how you can like build an entire cave over here for the hyenas, and it works as a cave. You don't technically need... Damn, one of my gazelles died. I don't know why. But, you got that whole side of it. I put this whole little thing together right here with the logs on. See how you can kind of like, I put the screen here, right? And you can have like floating objects, then put other objects where they collide with, they don't actually collide, but they clip into other objects to where you can then make your own object out of multiple objects, right? So it's kind of got that super creative system to it. Put down some cool little things that kind of make like rainforest sounds. Got one of them doing like a rainforest rain. One of them's like a frog sound. So it's kind of cool. It's like cool little reptile rain, little sit down area, right? Got energy drinks going over here. Just cool. I don't know. And I put this is a standard building right here, just like these buildings over here. Okay. And the reason why these over here look so different is because I've put all of these tropical vines and trees and plants all over it to give it that look, right? So you can really make one-of-a-kind parks and stuff like that. Okay, what do we got going on here? We got too much going on here, dog. So they're both, these Nile monitors, you got to be careful because each one of the animals can have a certain amount of baby animals at one time, right? So you got to be kind of careful with that. Because certain animals like other animals with them, certain ones don't. Every animal just really feels alive in the game, and it feels like you're in this, real breathing world, and there's all these sicknesses and diseases to the animals that you got to discover and figure out how to cure, and all this other kind of stuff. There's a lot to it, boys. The food can get nasty. You got different levels of food you can feed the animals. You got to hire more zookeepers to upkeep all this crap. You've got, a lot of different stuff. But like you can make your own waterfalls, go down, up with terrain. You've got prices on all this stuff. And it's really interesting the way this is something that's a little bit different that I remember from Zoo Tycoon. The way that they have designed how you actually like buy an animal. So if you go in here to animal trading, you've got like a lot of your standard animals like, gazelles, zebras, standard, Galapagos tortoises, warthogs, all that kind of stuff you can buy with money for a fairly cheap price, right? But you start getting to more of the rare animals like, Siberian tiger, Indian elephant. You've got like, cheetah, right? These are conservation credits, so it's kind of a different currency. You can see it down here. So it's actually quite a bit, they make it interesting to where you can't just like, let's just say you're super rich in the game. Well, you can't just go in there and just buy like 10 elephants or 10 cheetahs. It doesn't work like that. You actually have to get these conservation credits, which comes from releasing animals to the wild, doing all these other things other than making money to get these animals. So kind of a cool little different way to actually purchase the animals. African elephant for 1,000 conservation credits. That takes a while to get in this game, you know? So then you've got that one elephant that took you so long to get. You can't just buy an elephant in this game, like an African elephant. Even though I got 15,000 bucks here, I couldn't just buy one for 10,000. You have to have the conservation credits. You see what I'm saying? So it really kind of adds a dynamic to the. It's interesting because that's similar to the way it would be in real life, you would think, right? I mean, I guess you can just buy an African elephant, but you may not be able to do that in certain occasions in real life because there may not be very many of these certain endangered animals, and they got this whole cool full thing. You can look at each one of these animals. You can go deep into their habitat, where they're from, research all the different enrichment things they like. You've got everything, on each one of these animals. So that was kind of a cool, you learn a lot in this game too, some things you didn't really know. They got a nice set of default animals in the game. They really do. It'll be interesting to see what sort of new expansions. I know they've kind of came out with a, and just a little quick trick to some of you guys. If you don't have a water purification on something, you can always just go in there, take out the water, put new water down, and it's like you've got new water there. And that doesn't cost any money to do that. Just if I've got water purification over here, but I don't have it right here. So I've got to replace the water here until I get enough money for that. But yeah, I mean, there's just something about this game that just keeps me coming back like every night. And I just wake up and it's like, whoa, I've spent like 5 hours on this game. What the hell's going on? So it's really deep like that. Little bit of a lag issue when you start getting a lot going on at once. You can kind of sit there just a little bit. Not sure what's going on with that exactly, but there's just a lot to it, dude, with the different. Every animal is just so different. I guess that's really what makes it so different. Like, for instance, this is a different kind of actual crocodile here. I'm not exactly sure what. They got a special name for it. Let me see. Never even heard of this dang thing before. The Garil or something. I don't even know how to say that. I just butchered the shit out of that. Sorry. It seems like I have heard of that way back in the day, but they're critically endangered, right, in real life. And interesting enough, they have like all these options. It goes from domesticated, least concern, near threatened, vulnerable, endangered, and they have an option here that's extinct and wild. So that almost gives me the idea that they might put a, extinct animals expansion. Hell yeah, Frontier. If you do that, you will be a legend. I just think that's the best thing they could do. I know they did a little like Arctic expansion pack that gave like polar bears, snow biomes, stuff like that. But I think if they can kind of go down I think the best way to go with expansion packs in this game is to go down the same roads that Zoo Tycoon did. Come out with a dinosaur expansion to it, a full-blown dinosaur expansion. Or not do the dino expansion first, but do the marine expansion first, where you've got it's like this glass right here, but you can put water above it, and then you got they could do that so easily already with the way the game is, but because you already have glass barriers, you just need a ability to put water up on them and then raise that up or lower it, and then you could have water exhibits and whales and sharks and dolphins, and it really needs that whole side of it, because I know that kind of starts getting more into like SeaWorld, but at the same time it just works so good in a zoo game. Having the marine expansion works so good. So I really hope they do that in the future. And then you could go that next level layer step from that and start putting in extinct animals, not just dinosaurs, but any extinct animals. Then it goes into the dinosaurs, and then it kind of goes into all that. This would be such an awesome game if they had like a dinosaur and marine expansion, just like the old school Zoo Tycoon had. That would be badass, bro. That'd be so cool. But either way, it's a lot of fun building each one of the exhibits and figuring out how you're going to lower, raise terrain, what all you're going to put, and how you're going to do it. It's a really cool experience in this game doing all that, for sure, dude. Like, it's a lot of fun. Okay, let me go ahead and let's see. So we already have another one of these chilling here, so I typically save that one right there to put the babies of this one in that one, the vibe I'm kind of getting at here. So either way, but you can like choose to pay off your loans quicker, you know, all this kind of stuff. Like I can put this a lot higher, pay this loan off quicker. All different guys, but it's so fun because like it's hard to get money rolling at the beginning when you only start with 40,000. But then once you get some exhibits down, you get some marketing, you get some buildings, you get enough staff to kind of run everything. Then you can start making more and more and more money, and then you can really start expanding. And then you can see I've basically I might have used like 1/10 of the amount of park that you can actually build in. The line is right here. Then it goes up, right here. You can kind of see the barrier there. I basically built like 1/10 of what I can build on a map. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, the way you make a waterfall is all with effects, right? But you have 2 separate water ponds. Let's see if we can go ahead and, that's probably fine like that. But what I was going to say before, though, is interesting, like comparing the different animals. Look at all the babies, good Lord. Is like with these certain crocodile, gnarl, whatever you want to call them, you can have multiple males together and they're not going to fight. You can have a lot of them together, but the second you put 2 of these saltwater croc males together, they start fighting and causing a ruckus and everything else and a brother going on. So even though they're both like crocodiles and stuff in the game, they're really similar in that sense. They're very different in what you can put with this and how they are and all that. But I just love the way like these animals behave in the game and how they look and their animations. It's just on a completely another level. Like, dude, this game's legendary right here. I'm just telling you. And if they add a marine and a dinosaur pack to it, it'll become just as legendary as the old Zoo Tycoons if they do that. But either way, overall, I'd probably give this game a probably give it. I'm going to give it a solid 9, dude. Like, that's where I'm at on it. And if they can come out with the Marine expansion and the Dinosaur expansion, this game's going to be an 11 out of 10, dog. Like, for real. It just needs a couple of good expansions to it, and it'll be even more solid. It's already got a really good base of animals. It's got all your standard cheetah, orangutan, you know, you got pandas, you got grizzly bears, elephants, rhinos, mandrills, zebras. You got all the heavy hitter animals, right? Tigers, leopards, chimpanzees, lions, gorillas. Then it's got a lot of like side animals as well. You know, you got the little exhibit animals. The Komodo dragon, I think, was actually in a little pack that came with the version that I bought. But you got hippos, you know, you got a lot of different stuff, and they're all super different in the way that they react and behave and are in the game. You know, that's really what to me has expanded a lot from like the original Zoo Tycoons to this game. It's just the how much more alive the animals seem to be, and the you know, the animations and all that, and the way the behavior patterns of each of the animals is so different. Whereas back in the day, it was all a little bit more streamlined, and they were all more similar to each other because obviously, good Lord, at the freaking peacocks I got going on here, things breed like a mother hugger. God, just insane, dude. They don't bring a lot of money, but, you know, so then you kind of get into breeding the animals and selling once the baby's mature enough, then you can sell them, and then you make money off of that. And I don't really have too many big negatives to this game at all, dude. I mean, really, like, I'm super impressed with this. One little thing that is a little bit frustrating is if you have to basically, if you buy any of these animals, sometimes they can come with certain diseases and certain things to them, which is cool. I think that's really cool. But I wish there was a way, like, if your animal is pregnant or still a baby or it's got a disease, you can't sell it. You literally cannot get rid of it. So I've got 2 of these animals in here that I've had forever in my storage that I can't get rid of, and I'm not ready to put them in my zoo. I was just going to buy them real quick and sell them. Like, let me buy this red panda real quick and sell it. I bought it for conservation credits, right? And I was going to sell it real quick for money, which you can do with a lot of things. But I can't sell it because it's either pregnant or got a disease or something going on. But you would think you would at least still be able to sell. I don't know. There's like a little bit of a frustrating like thing that you can't sell the animals that you have sometimes. But it is what it is. Not that big of a deal. But other than that, I'm thoroughly impressed. Solid game. Really excited to see the future here. So now the baby zebra has now grown up, and now there's too many, you got like that vibe going on, and they'll injure themselves fighting, and then you gotta get the vet to them and fix them up and all that. So you got a lot going on. There's a couple little things I guess they could do that would make it even more cool. Like just one little thing I noticed was like when you have reptiles, they don't have eggs. When they're like, having babies, you're not going to have like a crocodile or a, tortoise egg, turtle egg. You're not going to have eggs, which I thought would be a lot more cool. But basically when they're pregnant and they're about to have a baby, the baby just appears. You don't have like eggs. And then another little thing I noticed is when you're breeding some of these animals that are in these little exhibits like this, like if both of these iguanas have a baby, it's going to automatically be big in the thing. Like for whatever reason, all these exhibit animals, the little reptile animals and spiders and stuff, when they have a baby, their babies aren't actually smaller. They're the same size as the adults instantly. But when you have obviously any of these other bigger animals like zebras, when they have a baby, they really are actually smaller. See, I think I did have a baby in here. I probably grew up. You could see it over here on these other ones, but they actually show up as small. So that was just one little thing. I was like, what? So these things are going to fight like crazy because these Nile monitors can have 7 babies at one time. So kind of get into a bit of a pickle there when they start breeding because they don't like having a lot of other monitors with them. So you got to be careful. But, so yeah, you can see how this is the baby right here, right? And it's smaller than the mom. And the mom is smaller than the dad, right? So you have 3 different size scale levels, which is pretty cool. But they don't lay eggs, which is interesting. And then obviously the exhibit animals don't actually have smaller animals. So there's a couple, just little bitty nitpicky things like that. But other than that, there's not a whole lot to complain about here, guys. This is a legendary game already right off the bat. You could tell they took their time. It's got this really free-flowing way you build things. You don't feel too forced into building it, but you do have the option to really, like if I'm coming here building a path, right, you do have the option to angle snap and make it really pretty and make it like the old school Zoo Tycoon games. You do have that option, but then you also have the option to do like really free-flowing paths that just kind of naturally rotate and turn and all this cool stuff. So you got a lot of cool stuff like that, but yeah, I just love the management of the game too. The trying to make money, keep money going. You got mechanics and you can put them here, put them there. Everything's got 10 levels deeper than what it seems like on the surface, You got research of the animals. You got upgrading staff member. You can pay people more to make more things happen. You got, the actual, trained staff members. You can feed the animals better food. You got contraceptives you can give the animals for God's sakes. You got there's a lot to this game, dude. There's a lot. And it's so fun to be able to, if I wanted to, I could come in here to construction and just start building my own house within this thing here, right? You can build it to put it on a group. You can group objects together to make your own objects, and it really is like a free-flowing, do whatever you want sandbox, but still having a money limit, and that's kind of what the challenge mode is in this game. So I was really impressed with how challenging the challenge mode really was. They gave you just the perfect amount of money to start with. 40,000, that's perfect, because if they would have gave you any more, then you would have been able to build so much that you could then just start making money like crazy and not have any issues. But with 40,000, it's like you're real tempted to take the loans out, and then you start kind of losing money and going into the negatives. I've literally went $60,000 into the negatives 3 or 4 times. 60,000 in the negatives, dog, and then brought myself all the way back out of it, and then now I'm doing all right, there's just a lot to this game, man. It really keeps you invested. It's just a fun game just to like chill play, you know? Just play it for fun. You don't have to, it's not too serious. It's not too, but there's times where it kind of ramps up and gets fun and keeps you interested and wakes you up a little bit, you know? And you start kind of running out of money. It's like, oh crap, now this animal's got a disease. Now it's giving every animal in the exhibit a disease. And then now it's, you know, now they're inbreeding. Now I got to sell some. Oh my God. Like, you know, but then it's like kind of calms back down, chills out. It's like, oh yeah, this is a fun ass game, dude. So there's a lot of that vibe going on. But either way, like I said, 9 overall. They come out with a marine and a dinosaur expansion. It will literally be an 11 out of 10 overall. So either way, I hope you guys enjoyed this little review of this game. I went about as deep as I could in certain areas of it, but yeah, really, really fun, solid game, dude. And the reason why it's like going from dark to light really quick is because I have it set to where the zoo opens up at a certain time, right? You could have it more realistic to where it doesn't do such a quick shift from dark to light. I just did that for video purposes here. But yeah, top-notch graphics in a Tycoon type game, top-notch everything, really. Super cool game here, man, for sure. So either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.